hope you're not too shocked. I was just reviewing your statements about Cantwell, and I was looking into why is part of our fan base pissed, and what I found is that yes, there's legitimate reason for them to be pissed at some of your statements.
Okay, can you elaborate?
Well, I've listed, you should rewatch my stream, but I've listed 6 sentences that you say about him that are false.
And what was that?
You said that he kept bashing black people all the time, that he thinks all issues in the world are because of Jewish people. You said that he was suggesting to kill Halsey just because he's Jewish, which was not the case. You said that you asked him to make it a hyperbole and that he refused, and that he said no, he was super serious, when in fact he said that he was doing an hyperbole. And then you have 2 more statements where you use the word "I would murder them," and for real, the 2 statements also deny the hyperbole that he was claiming to be doing on our show. So even if we remove the 2 last one, which are not super serious, we are stuck with 4 misrepresentations.
Okay, so with the you said that it's Jewish people, is everything's sorry, I just been like really stressed out all day. The claim, or the thing I said about him blaming Jewish people, that was me making a joke. Remember when he said black people are a problem and the reason is the Jews? So it was sort of just a joke. If that was defamation in your opinion, fair enough. I was just fucking around. I did clarify after the statement that he made about killing Halsey. It was in the hypothetical situation if there was an ethno state and Halsey did sneak in, that he would throw him in a wood chipper. I did clarify that on our show, as well as the Kumite after the one that you're watching right now. What else was there?
Kept bashing black people all the time. I think that you misrepresented the amount of content that was on the black people. It was not that major in the show, and you said kept bashing black people all the time. Personally, I would withdraw this statement.
Sure, I'll withdraw that statement. Yeah, he didn't really. I was sort of just like bashing the idea that he was just constantly going after other races for problems. Okay, he wasn't bashing black people all the time. I'll withdraw that statement then.
And what I've listed under high cockery is essentially, it's under 6 titles that I've listed, but essentially it's like throwing a guest under the bus on the next day while misrepresenting his statements which you've already now apologized for or withdrew. It was disavowing a guess when in fact Chris Cantwell in that segment just responded to a super chat. So it was like denying your own role in bringing Chris Cantwell there.
Well, it was you who brought Chris Cantwell there.
No, for bringing Chris Cantwell into speaking about Halsey and what he would do.
I'll be honest. I was just annoyed that we did have to be, extra careful. I didn't mean to throw him under the bus. I did state that it was a good interview.
I chose that clip there rather than the kind of anticlimactic departure clip of Warski, of JF Garyapi leaving Warski Live, because I wanted to sort of present why it's relevant to me and what the purpose was of Garyapi on Warski's channel. So JF is someone who latched on to race realism at a point when the skeptic community was making a decision about who was going to go all the way on white nationalism and who was going to acknowledge that racial science is a long debunked, incredibly defunct form of propaganda dressed up in scientific dressing. So, there was a falling out with Kraut & T. There was a falling out with Sargon, and there was a torch passing from Sargon to Warski, and now Warski to Garyepi. I've been in this game long enough to remember when Thunderfoot was the face of this reactionary movement on YouTube, and got supplanted by Sargon. It's infinite moves of the Overton window here, where they just keep moving further and further left, and Garyepi in turn is hiring an even further reactionary, an even more extreme reactionary, Emily Yukis, who refers to her, who has been referred to by the press as Pistachio Girl because she used to be a nut vendor in a baseball stadium, and is one of the most virulent, repulsive, disgusting Nazis on YouTube. As a matter of fact, in her first appearance on JF's new show, Le Public Space, she advocated for a nuclear holocaust on the continent of Africa. Unironically, even if it was ironically, it would be shit. But she basically proposed a holocaust of black Africans. So we went from different levels of dog whistling to now bullhorning, foghorning, and the thing that JF was really there for on Warski was to keep the program on white nationalism, keep the program on suppositional propaganda. We're just asking the question. We're just having the conversation, man. And I myself went on Warski Live, one of the earliest episodes, because even though I knew that the purpose was propaganda, what was important to me was that the positions of the left, and particularly Antifa, was represented by an honest actor rather than by a bunch of alt-righters talking about what Antifa's criticisms of the alt-right's platform are. So I went on Warski once. It was never invited back on. I've never been concerned about myself being the Pope of Antifa, but once they got that out of the way, the debates became, instead of left versus right, they became right versus extreme right. And the conversation always came back to the race question, the Jewish question, the genetics question. But it was always, by Garyepi, kept on topic with his intention to promote so-called race realism behind the veneer of his supposed scientific expertise, even though he was drummed out of academia for some questionable practices in his private life, or rather within his the way he conducted himself with interns romantically. So what we've landed in now is Garyepi having been mainstreamed by a pretty milquetoast, boring anti-SJW. Andy Warski's channel before Warski Live was one of the most uninspired, lazy channels in that post-skeptic community, anti-SJW community. He would literally just sit there and make the worst jokes about feminist content and mock Riley Dennis, and particularly was very, very preoccupied with Francesca Ramsey, and very, very, very preoccupied with Antifa and preoccupied with Black Lives Matter, and just had so many enemies in common with the alt-right that it really didn't matter why they were his enemy. They were, he had basically the same problem with them. He just didn't use the same language. So yeah, JF left Warski Live because he wanted Warski Live to be a white nationalist propaganda program 24/7, and Warski could no longer stomach every single week. Let's have the question. Let's have the discussion. Are black people animals? Are Jews greedy? Are they? This is how Fox works, by the way. I mean, if you're looking at like legacy media, Fox always framed all of their propaganda as, is Black Lives Matter bad? Is Barack Obama a communist? Is Hillary Clinton in charge of Pizzagate? Question. And again, in the course of quote-unquote having the debate, what you do is make it seem like certain topics are in dispute. That's how you spread certain kind of propaganda, is that, well, there are still questions on race, even though the race science has been debunked for over 100 years. There are still questions about Jewish deaths during the Holocaust, even though those numbers have been cemented for decades. It is a false revision. It is a false search for anti-truth. So what happens from here is Garyepi particularly left Warski, as I cited here, when Warski told the truth about Chris Cantwell. Once Warski asserted that Chris Cantwell was a hateful racist and exterminationist, which he is, meaning that Christopher Cantwell's solution to the so-called problem of the races is to engage in race war, which is just another word for extermination of non-whites. So JF chafed at that. He chafed at the fact that he wasn't going to be able to have 100% alt-right guests on the program, and he chafed that he was not going to be able to keep the topic continuously strangled around racial superiority. Went and formed his own channel, which is even further to the right of Warski, and I guarantee you 6 months to a year from now, after Emily Yukis has piggybacked on JF Garyepi, supposedly mainstream celebrity that he acquired from Andy Warski, you will see even more extreme and openly exterminationist. On her first episode, she was wondering whether she had to step lightly, and JF effectively made it clear that he had mainstreamed so much stuff that she could be perfectly honest about her opinions, as long as she didn't use certain words. She could just straight up say, we should exterminate Africa. She was able to straight up, no dog whistle, no Aiden Paladin style plausible deniability language. She was able to say that the Holocaust is a hoax, effectively, or some kind of a profound exaggeration that's fed to children in grade school to create sympathy for the Jews who are involved in some kind of perpetual subversion against the white race. I mean, this is a seriously mentally deranged person. This is a female version of Christopher Cantwell, and the fact that she is that I see the YouTube platform not do a damn thing about the rise of increasingly bold white nationalist neo-Nazi content is just sort of a testament to the symbiosis between capitalism and fascism. Capitalism is incapable of confronting fascism because, particularly in the platform of political speech, the most reactionary content is the most easily monetized. The most reactionary and sensationalist content is always going to be the most profitable on cable, the most profitable in print media, the most profitable in internet platforms. It is going to be the most prolific because the people who are part of this white nationalist movement are trolls. They're internet trolls, and whoever is and again, NEETs, we talked about them before, not people who are not in education, employment, or training. So these people are incredibly online. Poll is incredibly online. So these people are going to win through sheer numbers, because being a Nazi makes it very difficult to get a job. So what do? You just waste time on the internet. So this is not a victory for us. The Warski schism is not a victory for us. It is the alt-right shedding another useful idiot, like they shed Sargon, and they shed Kraut, and they shed 1,000 people who used to make their argument for them. This is escalation.